Hi, I'm Dave, the host and creator of Dopey, the podcast on drugs, addiction, and dumb shit. Everyone has been saying I should start making YouTube videos, so I figured I'd start with something I know nothing about, the daily reflections. I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing, but I know it's gonna be great. Trust me.
Good morning, Dopey. Your favorite podcast. Now able to show.
Good morning, Dopey. I'm Dave, and welcome to Good Morning Dopey as we try to get to the bottom of the daily reflections. And again, I've never read the daily reflections. I'm just learning it as I share it with you. So I have to make my incredibly important disclaimer. I do not represent Alcoholics Anonymous. Neither does Dopey. Dopey is the podcast on drugs, addiction, and dumb shit. This is just a YouTube channel embracing the ability for the drug addict and the alcoholic to be free and have fun. So don't get caught up in any gobbledygook. If you understand daily reflections or spirituality or think I'm awesome, write it in the comments. If you think I'm an idiot or a fool or ugly or you don't like the hat or you don't like the sport coat, the corduroy sport jacket, write it in the comments, but that won't make me happy. If you want to fuck with me, write it in the comments. That'll be fun for somebody, just not for me. And we are going to look at November 1st. It is November 1st. Happy November, everybody. November, obviously, is the 11th month of the year. And if you didn't know, in the daily reflections, every month reflects a step because there are 12 steps. There are 12 months. The 11th step says we sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood him, praying only for knowledge of his will. Now, if you are agnostic, this can be a sticky wicket of a situation. If you find God to be complicated, I hear you. I always thought God was very complicated. The way I deal with God is two things. And I am a nerd, so forgive me. I'm Jewish and a nerd, so rather than seeing God as Jesus or Allah or Buddha or some dude in the sky, I see it kind of along the lines of the Force, a binding energy in the universe that binds all living things together and that we are all connected through that. I'm also a huge reggae fan, love reggae music, and I'm a huge Bob Marley fan. And if you ever I never saw Bob Marley live, but I saw a lot of his concerts on video. And like before almost every song, Bob Marley says, Jah Rastafari. He declares his love for the Most High. And that's how I got over the God factor in AA. I was like, well, Bob Marley can do it. I can do it. And Bob Marley has a song called Natural Mystic. And he says, there's a natural mystic blowing through the air. And if you listen carefully, now you will hear. And I love that. You know, I feel like when I'm out in the world, I mean, and you can make fun of me, but I feel the natural mystic. I feel connected to other people and other things. And I know that like stars in the heavens and flowers pollinating from bees and hummingbirds and all this shit, it's like the world is interconnected. And for me, that's God. God isn't you're right, you're wrong. It's knowing that there's a bigger system in place, one that's very mysterious, but it exists. If you're an agnostic, we'll get to that another time. We'll enjoy the benefits of agnosticism. I think a lot of agnostics believe in this binding force in the universe. They just don't want to call it God. Anyway, enough with the God talk. That's my spiel on God. Again, if you're quasi-religious or not, write it in the comments. Educate me. If you're a Rastafarian who's in AA, tell me I shouldn't be talking about Bob in AA at the same time. I don't know. I'm just trying to make sense of this. It's getting hot in here. Hold on. Forgive me. Here we go. November 1st. I cannot change the wind. It is easy to let up on the spiritual program of action and rest on our laurels. And I've been in that situation where I've been sober and not spiritual. And I pray every morning. I never thought I would be someone who prayed. I pray, I ask God to help me not be crazy. I pray for the people who I fucking hate, so I can not hate them so much. I pray for guidance. I pray, I mean, there's a prayer in AA that says, make me an instrument of your peace and let me help the next person. And I think those are nice things to be. And I know my dad is a total agnostic Jew who thinks I don't know if he thinks I'm crazy or I'm stupid or both, but somewhere along those lines. So Dad, I know you're watching, forgive me. I'm just trying to help some people, Dad, just trying to look out for the next guy. Anyway, we are headed for trouble if we do, for alcohol is a subtle foe. And that's from the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous on page 85. And I don't feel close to having a drink or taking a shot of heroin or doing anything. I do this spiritual practice so that I don't get stupid or get crazier. It helps me to have a simple life and to have as much fun as possible. That's my aim with sobriety, is to have as much fun as I can have, be a good father and a good partner and a good worker and make a good podcast. I don't know if I can make a good YouTube show. Let me know in the comments. Anyway, here we go. My first sponsor told me there were 2 things to say about prayer and meditations. First, I had to start, and second, I had to continue. See, that's important because consistency is everything with everything. As I understand it with YouTube, if I keep going, more people will watch it. If I stop, it will fail. It's the same thing with this stuff. You need to do it every day so that it becomes part of your routine. It keeps you humble and it keeps you connected to something bigger than yourself. When I came to AA, my spiritual life was bankrupt. Absolutely. If I considered God at all, he was to be called upon only when my self-will was incapable of a task or when overwhelming fears had eroded my ego. And I still am like that. But like, if I get arrested, please God, don't make me go to Rikers Island. Please God, get me out of here tonight. Please God, don't let them find the Xanax in my sock. Whatever. Fucking, he was to be called upon only when my self-will was incapable of a task. Please God, help me get through this horrible thing. Or when overwhelming fears had eroded my ego. I can't handle this. Can you please help me? I think that's a suitable prayer, to be honest with you. Today I'm grateful for a new life, one in which my prayers are those of thanksgiving. So November, Thanksgiving is the best. I love Thanksgiving. I personally love a Thanksgiving sandwich with turkey, mashed potatoes, stuffing, fucking sweet potatoes with marshmallow and cranberry sauce, one sandwich, one bite, indivisible, the real thing. So I'm into Thanksgiving. My prayer time is more for listening than for talking. I talk a lot in my prayer. When I meditate, I do the listening. Anyway, I know today that I cannot change the wind. Of course you can't. I can adjust my sail. I know the difference between superstition and spirituality. That's deep. We'll say that again. I know the difference between superstition and spirituality. When I was a kid and I went to the elevators, I grew up in Manhattan, and I went to the elevators, and it's like I lived in low-income housing, and I had an odd elevator and an even elevator, and I lived on the 21st floor. And if I walked up to the elevator bank and the odd elevator closed while I got there and the even elevator opened, I decided that was a sign that meant I was on the wrong path. If they both opened, that meant I was really on the right path. But that's not spirituality. That is superstition. It's stupid, too. Forgive me for my calling myself stupid. I know there is a graceful way of being right. And I'm often not graceful when I'm right. I like to gloat, but there is a graceful way to be right and many ways to be wrong. I don't even have to say anything about that because I'm wrong so often. I love prayer and meditation. It makes my life easier. Makes my life easier. And when I talk to people about prayer and meditation, a lot of it is just about willingness. It's not like you're going to say bippity boppity boom and the fucking pumpkin is going to turn into a carriage. It's just the act of doing it. It actually works. That's it for me. Tune in tomorrow where we do more spiritual shit in November. Keeping optimism afloat tomorrow. Stay strong, Dopey Nation, and fucking toodles for Chris.
Dopey, 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 dopey. of your